like to start by saying thank you. Thank you to the organizers for giving me this very kind introduction. And most importantly, thank all of you. Thank you. I'm not taking it lightly. You have decided to spend the next 25 minutes here with me, the next 25 minutes of your life, a non-renewable resource. And I promise to make those memorable. Not just memorable, but profoundly enlightening. So thank you for having me. And we're not gathered here today just to, do another tech presentation from another sponsor. So if you came for that, I hope I'm going to disappoint you. I know I'm sort of sandwiched in between the two AI talks. I don't know if that helps or not. Sorry. No, all good. No. We're here to celebrate, to explore, and to champion the virtues of serverless technology, a true testament to resourcefulness, efficiency, and tech-driven triumph. Right? That's what we're here for? Yes, cool. We are at the cusp of a paradigm shift, where saving resources and maximizing efficiency aren't just beneficial, they are essential for unlocking new realms of technological possibility and success. But before we dive into the cool and thrilling world of serverless computing, let's do a bit of time travel. Let's cast our minds back to the glorious 1980s. Anyone else remember the 1980s? Oh, yes? Okay, great. I'm not the oldest. That's good. Anyone else? You've probably watched Netflix. It's just like that. Okay, so plenty of series. And the 1980s were the ideal time. Certainly for me, they were the perfect time for a young and eager brain to be molded within a world where creativity and resourcefulness were absolute necessities. Yeah, we lived a humble life, very much unspoiled by today's modern comforts. The garments we wore were not disposable swag from tech conferences. We wore our garments with pride. Well looked after hand-me-downs, imbued with the spirit of our enterprising cousins. Our family car, a symbol of our self-sufficiency, did not have air conditioning. The summer heat was simply another environmental factor to be addressed with manual effort. Remember those? Yes, yeah. Some kids will be like, what? No, there was no button. Information at our fingertips? No way. All our knowledge came from books, encyclopedias, generally quite out of date. I remember looking up how many people were living in China, and that was already like 20 years out of date. But, we still went with that information. And, it wasn't just a trip across to the other room. Like, it actually took a journey on a bus, paying with cash, physical cash, coins that were the result of my parents' hard labor. But, it was a triumph, taking home those books. And, we really celebrated. Every knowledge gained was like a celebration. It wasn't like today. It was really treasured. And then, just want to point out, like, they were not hardships to us. They were badges of honor, overcoming those challenges, testaments to our mastery over our environment. Then our family underwent a digital transformation. The only one I've ever seen succeed on budget. We replaced our trusted Commodore 64. Anyone else had a Commodore 64? Yes, one person, yeah. But yeah, we replaced it with a giant personal computer designed to serve the entire household. Yes, one digital device for the entire family. A portal to the digital world that wasn't even connected to the internet or to anything else. The only way that digital information would enter and leave our home would be on floppy disks. And I'm sorry, my prompt engineering skills aren't good enough. I was not able to actually generate the right type of floppy disk. This is the safe icon. By the way, we didn't have 3D printers, but yeah, no, so there were floppy disks like this. But no, I'm talking about the 5.25-inch floppy disks. And they really allowed us to be frugal because we could purchase the 170 kilobyte single-sided ones and then take a hole punch and punch a hole on the other side. So we could then flip them over manually, eject, flip over, just like cassettes, but you probably wouldn't know those either, to double our storage capacity. So, we punch a hole, we expend physical effort to get an extra 170 kilobytes of storage space. Because why would you pay for the pre-punch double-sided variety when you can do it yourself? Like we even had a specialized hole punch. But yeah, that became redundant when we switched to those modern floppy disks that some of you still know as the safe icon. Yeah, so that was our reality. And within those constraints, we thrived. We learned to extract maximum value from very limited resources. And that's a lesson that's become the cornerstone of my philosophy in the realm of technology. So let's fast forward. Let's skip ahead, leave the 1980s, skip a few decades, the 90s, the early 2000s, back to the present. No, we didn't want to go to 2020. They sent us straight back. They said, sorry, we're going to shut down time travel. Go back. No, let's try 2024. It's, looks a bit more promising, maybe. A bit scary. Okay. All right, not that scary. The year is 2024, and frugality, the once humble virtue, strides back to the forefront of cloud computing. And serverless technology, a symphony of efficiency and innovation, is here. It's the antithesis of wasteful consumption, a system where you only pay for what you use, a system that scales with only your realized ambitions, not your budget. It rewards the industrious, the creators, the builders, but not those who toil endlessly with outdated tools. This, serverless, not AI, is the future. A future built on the bedrock of self-reliance and the power of the human mind. And yes, the future of AI will be serverless too. We're no longer shackled by the constraints of the past, by bloated infrastructure that bleeds money like a leaky shower head, running precious dollars down the drain every second. No, we're crafting a whole new ecosystem, a system that by its very design eliminates waste. And some wise, frugal architects are teaching us to make cost a non-functional requirement. Anyone seen that keynote? I was amazed. I loved what he was saying. But it's not a whisper anymore. It's a battle cry for the resourceful, a declaration that frugality is not a weakness, but a weapon. Here in the serverless world, cost isn't relegated to the shadows anymore. It is thrust onto the center stage, a guiding star for every line of code and every deployment. But let's be honest, even in the serverless world, costs remain a battlefield. There are just so many costs to manage. There's still the upfront development cost, a significant investment that forms the foundation of our system. And we'll always need to make those strategic, often speculative investments, even for MVPs. And within this investment, obviously, lies the most valuable asset in our scarcest resource, us, the technical people on our teams. And then the tools that we use also contribute to this upfront development cost. But in the serverless world, the cost for these tools will often approach zero. Very different to like the 80s and the 90s, where you had to buy a compiler and then, like it would be shipped to you on media and stuff like that. Everything's kind of almost free these days. It's amazing. And then there's the ever-present opportunity cost, the phantom revenue lost for as long as our solution languishes in development. Here again, serverless comes to the rescue. By accelerating development, it not only saves us our own time, but it propels us towards the promised land of revenue generation. You see, speaking of revenue, it's crucial to remember that our ultimate goal is a self-sustaining system. Not this. Without sufficient revenue, even the strongest fortress cannot permanently withstand the relentless siege of ever-growing costs. And yeah, again, serverless can be really great here because when usage is low, running costs remain near zero. And then from there, it scales with incredible agility. Now, this drawing apparently depicts it perfectly. According to ChatGPT, we're seeing a dynamic structure that expands and contracts, symbolizing the system's ability to adapt to surging and dwindling usage, thereby extending its profitable lifespan. Yeah, but it's true. So you really need to consider both revenue and cost together, and you'll need to make sure that they grow and shrink together. You don't want your cost to go up independent of your revenue. But is it really this simple? I think at this point, a word of caution is due. I'll give you an example. Yes, serverless is amazing. It sounds amazing, but very, very simple example that imagine you're selling something on your website, and your sale invokes a Lambda, which invokes another Lambda. There's this whole chain reaction of Lambdas. That's fine. And then the costs incurred by these invocations, they'll be charged to your next cloud bill. Again, perfectly in line with the revenue that was generated during the same month. Like that same sale that triggered those Lambdas brought in revenue, and that's when you're paying for it. What's the catch, though? Why isn't it always that simple? Any thoughts, anyone? What else might we be paying for? So the sale happened, right? We made money this month. We paid for the Lambdas. What about next month? We're not making any more money. The sale happened. It's last financial year. No one. Yeah, we made a profit last year. But no. I've seen it many times. Systems rendered less and less profitable by the hidden elephant of transactional database consumption. And I'm saying elephant not because Postgres. This could happen with DynamoDB or any serverless NoSQL database. If you don't actually archive your data, then you will still be paying for those transactions years later. I've really seen this happen a lot. People's database is growing and growing. They've got no strategy to actually archive that data to either delete it or move it somewhere cheaper. Yes, there may be some value. There may be reasons why we need to keep it, but do we need to keep it in those expensive databases? Because it'll erode our profitability. We're paying for something that only made us money last year. So yeah, keep that in mind. And also, obviously, performance issues can also arise if you have your databases grow and grow, and that can have impacts on customer experience and revenue. So true frugality demands that we consider these from the outset. Addressing these hidden cost traps is just as crucial as any other requirement. And I'm not saying do premature optimization. By the way, has anyone ever told you, hey, I'm going to go off and do some premature optimization? No, obviously not, right? Because people don't think it's premature or they wouldn't be doing it. Right? But yeah, consider them from the outset. Addressing them could just mean putting them on the backlog for now. That might be the most frugal thing to do in your situation. Remember how valuable your time is, more than anything else. And only you will know the right moment to then actually implement that backlog item. Just don't miss that moment. Just don't keep deferring it. So yeah, it's pretty obvious how the impact of our design decisions on cost is undeniable. But like I said, a frugal architect, like a master strategist, must also consider revenue. And revenue is also something that you can impact directly through your architectural decisions, like I just hinted at. As an architect, you'll be responsible for things like high availability, keeping error rates low, and latency low as well. You'll need to decide how much you want to invest in each of those. And all those factors will influence your customer's experience and ultimately the lifeblood of any system, revenue. Yes, we don't like to think about revenue as tech people, but we need to. And that is really the essence of what I mean by shift-left frugality, the title of this talk. Integrating cost and revenue considerations into every design decision during development and maintenance. Making smart trade-offs, meticulously observing cost and revenue data. That's the art of cost optimization done right. Without observability, the true costs of operating a system remain shrouded in shadows. Unchecked waste spreads and silently corrodes efficiency across your whole company, really. Across the world, if you think about it. So don't let your application's cost become a shadowy figure lurking in the corners of your company's cloud bill. No, you should embrace transparency. Tag your resources, isolate them in separate accounts, shine a light on every byte. We must take pride in our cloud charges because they are records of our creation's journey. And in this way, you ensure that your serverless solutions are not just extraordinary, but fiscally responsible, a clear demonstration of the true power of frugal innovation. And the essence of frugality extends far beyond mere dollars and cents. IPv4 addresses, once as abundant as grains of sand, have become prized like ancient relics. And bandwidth, too, is not an infinite river. Picture a user in a remote location, their mobile device barely clinging to a signal. Your frugally crafted application ensures that they experience seamless service without draining their limited data reserves. And of course, every compute cycle saved translates to a greener footprint, a clear demonstration of the conscientious craft of serverless development. And as developers, serverless developers, but really any developers in tech, we naturally strive to continuously improve our systems. And that would include reducing cloud costs, enhancing uptime, optimizing performance. All great things. And we're all aware that each optimization attempt consumes valuable time and resources. Now, in a well-designed serverless environment, we can leverage data and sound judgment to prioritize our optimization efforts, those that deliver the most significant impact with the least investment. And I'm pointing this out because think about a monolithic application running on a big server. It's completely opaque. It's a black box. If you can't do it there, right? If you wanted to increase the throughput on one out of maybe hundreds or thousands of API endpoints on that server, you might have to scale up the entire server. And that wouldn't be frugal at all. That would be extremely wasteful. But with serverless, we're dismantling that box. We're transforming it into a workbench, overflowing with specialized tools. Each function is a distinct and observable entity. And this modularity is the foundation of our frugal advantage as serverless developers. We can wield a high-powered magnifying glass, peering into the inner workings of each function. We see not just its functionality, but its resource consumption and its contribution to the cloud bill. It's like a financial audit at the function level, pinpointing areas for optimization. Because not all functions are created equal, right? So some are like the beating heart of our entire system, like they're essential. And they really deserve our constant attention and peak performance and maximum uptime. But then other functions, they're more like background tasks maybe. They're still important, but less performance critical, and they can maybe even tolerate some downtime here and there. And serverless really allows us to be discerning investors. We can allocate resources judiciously, ensuring the essentials run smoothly while keeping the nice-to-haves lean and efficient. And this focus on measured and targeted optimization is the crux of frugal innovation. We don't waste time and resources polishing every tool to a gleaming perfection. Instead, we strategically invest in the performance of high-impact functions, maximizing the value that we extract from every dollar that we spend. Again, we wouldn't be able to do this with a monolith. And yeah, look, serverless may not be a silver bullet to solve every problem, in the most efficient way all the time. But I think it really empowers us to make smarter, more frugal decisions with an extremely powerful arsenal of tools. Those tools support us in our efforts to becoming less and less wasteful across a vast array of very common scenarios. And as serverless developers, we're very much ahead of the curve in embracing this mindset. We routinely craft systems that scale to the furthest corners of the globe without succumbing to wasteful spending. We deliver user experiences that are second to none, completely unburdened by the bloat of unused code or idle servers. And our role as serverless developers transcends technical mastery. Every line of code we write, every serverless function we deploy is also a testament to the power and potential of frugality. We are not followers of trends, but leaders of a charge, demonstrating how technology can empower business to be both sustainable and innovative. We are the Michelangelos of the digital age, wielding serverless technology like a sculptor's hammer and chisel. From a seemingly blank canvas, we carve out efficient solutions, lean, powerful systems as perfectly formed as David himself, just not as monolithic. Let us also become the evangelists of frugality. Let's share our knowledge and our triumphs, loudly proclaiming that frugality isn't about cutting corners, but about shaping them with purpose and elegance. And we might need to remind our peers and overlords repeatedly that the journey of frugality does extend beyond just cost savings. It encompasses how we manage all resources, including our time, energy, and our impact on the environment. Every server we don't spin up, every watt hour of energy that we conserve contributes to a smaller carbon footprint, a healthier planet. And of course, a lot more time for us to have fun. We're really in the business of improving the quality of life on this planet in the 21st century and for many centuries to come. We're not building applications, we're building a movement that celebrates resourcefulness and recognizes the true costs of waste. let Frugality be our badge of honor. Let us continue to innovate, to inspire, and to lead by example. All right, thank you again. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, that's the QR code. And we might have time for 1 or 2 questions, or not? We do? OK, great.
Yep, if anyone's got any questions, and then we can clap. Questions?
No questions.
OK. Thank you, Birger.
All right. Thank you.